Hi there, Dr. Vicky here with the Shift Happens channel. Today, I am going to introduce to you a method that helped me when I was in super doubt. I was close to quitting. I didn't believe. I was like, but yet I still had that desire to believe, and yet I just wasn't seeing any movement, not with my SP, my money, anything, right? In fact, things were going in the opposite direction. And I know a lot of you are in that predicament. And I am here to tell you, keep going. I'm going to give you a method that helped me to kind of get back on track. But before we do, go ahead and like, share, and comment. That's how we build our community here. And listen, I've been there. I've been doing this since, well, I watched The Secret. And so I started out with Law of Attraction. And then I really came upon myself when I was introduced to Nevillegoddard. And I really got into his teachings as well as Joseph Murphy, Florence Scovel Shinn, among some of the, and Wayne Dyer, all kinds of Bob Proctor. I mean, you name it. Hey, I read all the books. I did all the methods, and I still do some of the methods. I will always tell you, don't ever feel like you have to do a method to get something. But that's not really what this is about today. Today, I'm going to talk about and really focus on how to, like, when you are in the lowest of lows, and how did I get myself out of it? I don't edit these. Okay. And so I'm going to give you that method. But before we do, go ahead and like, share, and comment. That's how we build our community here. I want to help you just as much as you want to manifest things, right? And I've been there. I know what you're going through. All right. So let's get into it. Now, there were moments, and many, many moments, where I really felt the doubt and I was ready to quit. And I was crying and heaving and like, why is this doing this? Why are you, I was kind of angry at God or source as well. I was like, man, why are you putting me through this? What is going on? This doesn't work, right? I've been doing the methods, I've been affirming, visualizing. Maybe I haven't been doing it enough, or maybe I haven't set aside, or I haven't stuck with one of the methods long enough. And gosh, I would journal, I would do it all, right? And I would watch videos, but this is even before I watched videos. I was reading books, I was listening to like podcasts at the time, and just different things. I was trying everything. And for a while, the law of attraction really did help me. But then when I really wanted something, and it often has to do with the SP, right? Then all of a sudden things kind of took a turn, and I was like, man, I want this. And then all of a sudden I found out that you can actually have and be and do all that you desire. But then I wasn't seeing any movement, and I was working at it and trying and doing all the things. And then I came upon Athena Raven, and I came upon Joseph Ally, right? Her her partner. Well, he is famous for the list method. So I thought, you know what the heck? Let's just have fun with this. I'm going to just play around. And I had done things like that before. I didn't He has you do the 10 items. And I did do that. I did as he instructed. But even before I was introduced to Joseph, I also did little fun things. I would just, I kept a journal, a specific journal just for my manifestations, just so I could say, hey, this does work, right? And so I'd write things down like, I always see blue butterflies. And so, and of course, within a few days, I would see blue butterflies, balloons, whatever. And it first of all, they never showed up like I thought they would. Like when I manifested balloons, I was thinking I was going to see them in a store, on the street, somebody's birthday party. No, it was on Zoom. And this is when Zoom was just starting to kind of change things up. And I said something. I must have said something regarding like celebration, because all of a sudden balloons started popping up. And I was like, oh my God, who would have thought, right? I didn't even know there was such a thing that you could do. And so it was absolutely fun, right? And so that it was what I did. I kind of took a step back, and I stopped doing all the the affirming, the visualizing, the everything. I would be aware of myself, like that inner conversation. But I did the list method. It does actually work. Okay. And now there are times when some of the things on the list didn't always show up right away. It took a little bit of time, but I'm going to tell you a little adjustment that I did. This is from my experience, right? The method in itself is the same idea, the same concept. I just changed it for me because I started doing, like, I dedicated this journal just for this list method. Well, I'm kind of kind of OCD, okay? And so I would write all the 10 things for each day. And then I followed the rules and I didn't look back at it. But the thing I would suggest, and this is how I changed it, he had you do at least 10 things. And you can go up more. And some days I did. I went to 11 a few days. But I kind of noticed I was repeating myself on some of the things. So I took it down 5 days or 5 items. And then what I also did, I started to reserve room to explain when this happened and who it happened with and how did it happen. Because that's the fun part, is that, oh my gosh, I was at the grocery store and then all of a sudden I saw a blue rock that I was looking for, and there it was in the grocery store. Here I thought I was going to find it like on the beach or on the street or something, and it was actually ended up in the grocery store. And that's the fun part, is the story part. So that's how I adjusted it. And I still do this because it's fun. What it does is help you to understand that this manifesting thing really does work. And it really works when you're not even trying. You make the list, you don't even think about it. You go to the next day, you make the list, you don't think about it until after the 7th day. And on the 8th day, you go back to the first day to check off. And so I like to reserve a little more room. I dedicated a journal just for this actual method. And I took it down from 10 to 5. And then I left more room on the page to tell the story of how and when I received it. And that's the fun part, because it's like, oh my gosh, I said something like $5 in the mail. Well, of course I got $5 in the mail, and I even took a picture of it, and then I went to work and I printed it off and I put it in the journal. I just had fun with it. Okay. And it does work. And so if it worked, that's what I told myself, if it worked for this, these little things like finding a quarter on the sidewalk, just little things, right? Things that I didn't really have an emotional tie. And then what I did then, I manifested it, and it just proved that this works. Well, then I started taking it to the next level. All right. I received a text from someone I haven't heard from in years. And of course it did, and so then I started kind of doing a little more like things that I actually want to see, but yet still have fun, and then I started incorporating things like, hey, I'm getting clarity on my next steps for business. And boom, this stuff, I manifested songs in my sleep, then I went from songs in my sleep to I am manifesting. I've received songs that mean something to help me on my journey, to manifesting. And yeah, it happened. And maybe someday I'll tell you that story because it's pretty cool. But I don't think I'm ready to reveal that one just yet. But I'm telling you, try Joseph. I don't know if I say his last name right. Joseph Eli's list method, and it does actually work. But you know what? I still at times was questioning, like, okay, but how hard is it to find it? Don't do that. Don't question, and just have fun with it. Receive it. Put things down that you don't have a big story with. There's no emotional tie, and then continue to just have fun with it. And if you feel stronger about it, start doing things that you kind of want and actually desire. But I took it from 10 to 5 because it was too many. I was like, oh, I can't remember. And I know you're not supposed to revisit or remember, but it does kind of, if I have too many of the same things, because I started repeating myself. So then I was like, okay, let's just do 5. You could do 3. Who cares? Right. And just have fun with it and see what happens. Go ahead and put in your comments how that has worked for you. You can do prayer hands, or actually let me know what you have manifested off of this list. Give it a shot, give it a try, and I promise you'll have fun. Okay. Until the next video, take care.